Mazen Naim is the Communications Officer for aid group Save the Children and lives in Gaza, joining us from there. Mazen, thank you so much for your time. According to your organization, so much infrastructure has been destroyed in Gaza, including at least 50 schools. What impact is that having on Gaza's youth at the moment?
This is a very bad situation in Gaza all over for the children, for the people, and for the infrastructure. There have been deliberate targeting of various civilian structures, as you've seen in the various reports, including residential houses and schools and health centers and the main roads actually in Gaza. So there is a huge destruction that is taking place, which resulted in a lot of displacement too. The sounds of explosions and the scenes of this destruction, it would have a very serious impact on children, on their mental health, on their access to education, and on their future as human beings. In the various reports you've seen that now we're talking about 63 children have been killed, and children are injured as well. There are more than 450 children injured as well. And all the children in Gaza are now being traumatized by the sounds of explosions, and the fear and the anxiety. It's causing them sleeplessness and some behavior disruptions, and which will lead to post-traumatic stress disorder as well, which is going to live, unfortunately, with some of those children and affect their growth and well-being for years to come.
Mazen, that's something I really wanted to touch on, because what these children are seeing at the moment, it's a mental and emotional trauma that you speak about. And it's also a generational trauma that their parents and maybe their grandparents would have also experienced. So how do you even begin to start dealing with something like this while there is a war taking place in front of them?
No, during the war itself, there is not much that can be done except the very simple, like there are free call-up lines that people call for our partners and other organizations in Gaza for mental health, to get advice and some mental debriefing and things like that. But unfortunately, no one can move right now at the moment in Gaza. No, not Save the Children, not any international organization, not any UN, United Nations organization can move in Gaza under the current circumstances. It's very dangerous to move because civilians are being targeted and moving vehicles are being targeted and so on. So we have to wait for a ceasefire to start really responding to the various needs in the Gaza Strip, which is you tackle the time element of this. It's very, very true, the point you are raising, because the Gaza blockade has been for 14 years now. Any child has gone through 2 or 3 offensives on Gaza, and this might be the 4th. My daughter was born during the war of 2014, for example. Now she is 6.5 years old. She's seen a number of escalations, and now this war. So it's a very complicated situation for everyone, children and their parents too. Their parents have gone through this again, and every time you treat them, like we do sessions for various mental health support and stuff like that. But with the first airstrike and the first explosion, with the first escalation like this, there is always regression that we will have to try to fix and build on for the future as well. So it's going to be a tough process, and it's not going to be only children that would need assistance. It's going to be only mothers and fathers and almost everyone in Gaza. But we'll do assessments after the situation calms down. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem that a ceasefire is in the horizon.
Yeah, you talk about your young children and yourself living through this war at the moment, and it's so difficult for so many of us to imagine what you must be going through at the moment. So what do you want to see the international community do to bring an end to this and to bring humanitarian assistance to the thousands that need it at the moment?
This is day 10 of the fighting and the assaults on Gaza and the airstrikes and the bombardments. On the first day or on the second day, Save the Children issued a statement when the number of casualties there were 9 children killed. The total of casualties was around 20. Now we're talking on day 10, more than 200 people, 219 people were killed and 63 children. I want the international community to understand that time is not our friend in this, because there will be more airstrikes. If this doesn't stop, there will be more airstrikes, and more people will be killed. There will be more destruction. We're not. So this is not the end of it. The more this goes, there will be more casualties and more losses and more damages and more destruction in Gaza. So we would love to see more pressure being put on Israel, and on both sides, but particularly in Israel, that is using maximum power against Gaza and targeting civilians and civilian structures to put an end to this. I mean, now Gaza has electricity shortage in various parts of the Gaza Strip, and the fuel in Gaza is running out for the power plant. Israel is not allowing the fuel to come through Kerem Shalom. The crossings are closed. Because of the issues with electricity, a lot of neighborhoods in Gaza are not getting water. So there is an issue of access to water as well that's going to become more serious. There is a significant shortage in medical supplies in Gaza and in medical capacity. The health system has been dealing with a lot of shortages before COVID hit, and when COVID hit, it became really, really worse. And now with this war and the atrocities and the big losses and that we are seeing and a lot of casualties among civilians, is putting a whole lot of pressure on the medical system that might not survive the shortages of staff, shortages of medical supplies and consumables, shortages in drugs, in like intensive care units, beds, and oxygen cells, and all of these things. So we hope that we are calling for the international community to put pressure to end this escalation or war in Gaza as soon as possible, and to allow for the entry of medical and humanitarian supplies.
Yeah.
UNRWA made a statement this morning saying that the Israelis prevented food supplies and basic supplies from entering to UNRWA to provide to the internally displaced peoples, which are in the tens of thousands now sheltering inside United Nations schools in Gaza.
And we are hoping that those calls will be heard. Mazen, thank you so much for your time live to us there from Gaza.